Hello everybody. I'm just starting again because am I live? Oh my goodness, I think I might not stream tonight. I've just been beset with all sorts of technical issues that are really frustrating, and I just don't understand why they've all happened at the same time. So apologies for those of you who've been waiting for the show. I might not. I've lost the will somewhat from having all these issues, and now I'm a little bit discombobulated, and it's done my head in. So yeah, this is one of the dark sides of streaming, is when things just don't work for, I don't know, strange reasons. I'm having some audio issues, video issues, lighting issues. Oh, thanks everybody for finding me. Sorry for that false start. Yeah, what a palaver this can be sometimes. Yeah, I've just spent the last half hour, more than half hour, just trying to eke out the gremlins. But, you know, in doing so, it's just sort of feels just a little bit like, anyway, so I'll go on a little bit because it's nice to see an audience. Hello, everybody, for joining me. Thank you so much. Yeah, weird things. I want to use another stream provider as well. I think I've had enough of this one because I'm using the free version, and the free version, I don't know. I'm not going to cast aspersions, but sometimes free versions, I think, are not the premium experience. So I'm like a little bit, discombobulated. What have I got on the bench tonight, though? I mentioned earlier on Sonic Talk, in case you saw that, it was got the Dreadbox Nymphes here. Now, this is something I've had for a while, but I've not really got round to exploring it too much. Now, I think I know how it works, and let's get some levels up. So yeah, it's been out for a while now. Big Dreadbox fan here. My first Dreadbox instrument was an Erebus, which I love, an Erebus Mark II. I've got a few of the Dreadboxes. I've got the Abyss, which I really love, although it's certainly not the most versatile synth. And I've got the Dreadbox Chromatic series modules as well, which I really like and really recommend, especially as they are, in modular terms, very affordable. Lovely. Yes. So this thing, the Nymphes, then, I'm sure most of you will know what it is already. It's been around for a while. Loop Pop did a great video. I was watching a little bit of that earlier as a bit of a refresher, and, there's no one better in the business for explaining in the most clear way than Mr. Loop Pop, Ziv himself. He's a real asset, so yes. Big up Loop Pop. So if you want to know what this thing is, then I recommend watching his video. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm just going to fart around with it. What I've got plugged in is the Keystep 37 from Arturia, and then this is actually going into my looper, which I don't think is in shot, is it? No, it's not in shot. The loop, which is the RC505 Mark II from Boss, which is one of the best things ever made, ever, by anyone. Still sort of jury's out for me whether the Mark 1 or the Mark II is better in the 505, because I got both of them here. I haven't tried linking them up yet. The 505 Mark II clearly sounds better and has upgraded effects and is the better unit, really, but there's something just so immediate about the Mark 1, and therein is one of its great strengths. However, we are not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the Nymphes and have a little listen to it and have a little mess around with it. Now, the key step 37, I had original key step, although that's gone yellow and some of the keys have stopped working. I thought was just a fabulous MIDI controller, but they went one better with the key step 37 by adding these knobs and a few other bits and bobs on it, which make it really super fun. So we'll be playing with some of those. So one of the features of the Nymphes, which I'm probably not going to use tonight though, is it can generate chords and you can modulate the chords. But with the key step has got a whole load of chord generating potential, and also you can lock things into scales as well, which you can't do with the Nymphes chords. So I think I'll use the chord feature of this rather than on here. In fact, why don't we do that now? So I'm turning this up. I'll go into the major scale here. So now everything I'll play will be in, let's see, am I in C major? Yes, I am. So this is just the first preset on the Nymphes, and I think it gives you a nice idea of the velocity sensitivity is sounds like it's tied to filter. And aftertouch as well. So these nice one finger chords now. We've got 6 voices available to us, so why don't we make our chords 6 voices? So I'll turn up the amount of notes here. Can't really see very well on a video, but another of the additions to the key step is little LEDs above each key, and then so when I'm playing a chord I can see what the notes are. So I mean, just preset 1, just play with the filter a little bit, but I think one of the things that's quite nice about the Nymphes is kind of, it's just, you know, it's not the most sophisticated poly synth out there, but its basic sound is really nice. So I've got a oscillator section, filter section, envelope section, an LFO section, and then a dreaded mode, a menu switch then, which adds extra facility to these. Anything that's got the pink legend on there means you have to hold that, well, either hold the shift button and adjust, or is it, oh, I got that. Let's come out of that save. Yeah, shift latches now. I don't think it did originally. I think you had to latch it with a double press, but it just latches. So when you're in shift mode, then all of these parameters do different things. And there is a third mode as well, which pertains to the LFO2 and the reverb. Well, didn't know if I wanted to get into it too much again. Loop Pop does this beautifully, but we got a little menu here. When you hit the menu button, then 1 to 7, this knob here will select 1 to 7, and then there's different things that it will do. For instance, if I wanted to change the MIDI channel, I'd flip it all the way over to 7 MIDI channel, and then I'd have to press menu again, and as it's flashing, I can set the MIDI channel to one of 7. I'm going to set it to MIDI channel 1, press the thing, and there we go. So that's like one of the uses of it. You know, it's a little bit weird. And then the LFO2 and the Reverb, they have a slight... well, if I was to go to the LFO2, which would be to hit menu, and then navigate this, put that onto 2, then my LFO settings here, the rate and the wave will pertain to LFO2. And am I right in thinking the delay and fade can be set for LFO2? I'm sure it can. But, you know, it's a little bit weird. I mean, they're trying to maximize, I guess, real estate and functionality, and anything like that, any little abstraction sort of contradicts its kind of quite nice, simple, first hands-on. But I understand why it's there, and I think it's okay. If I was a bit more familiar with it, I'm sure I'd be fine with it. But there are a few little things, I was messing around with it earlier, that do kind of like gotchas a little bit. Like, let's say for instance now, my LFO, I want to set the right, let's get the LFO doing something. Let's come over here. And I've lost the sound. Why have I lost the sound? So make sure chord is off for a minute. Oh, you see, this is my night tonight. Sound has gone. Okay, must be... I don't know why that is. I've messed around with something. Oh, did I change the MIDI channel? Yes, I did. Duh. You see, I mean, when I'm talking about technical issues earlier, those technical issues are more like user error issues. But you know, they all add up, and can't think straight, panic, time is ticking, why doesn't it work? Oh yeah, I just demonstrated how you change the MIDI channel. Forgot to change the MIDI channel on the keyboard. Duh, there we go, that's how things are. But anyway, yeah, so like for instance, like the LFO, let's have the LFO change the filter. Oh yeah. This being an example. To change the filter, I need to be in the shift mode. So if I turn the LFO, I have to be in shift. So I can adjust the strength of the LFO hitting the filter here. But if I want to change the rate of the LFO, changing this here is changing the pink parameters, because we're in shift, which is the delay time and the fade. So I have to come out of here, change the rate, hit shift to go back in here, and then remember, if I want to change the rate, to come back out. So things like that, you'll get around it, I'm sure, if you get used to it, but lots of potential things to trip up on due to this shared control system. But it's pretty elegant for what it is, and you know, for the price point, etc., and bringing it in, you know, at that budget, they have to make certain compromises. But the thing is pretty light, and it is really small, and considering it's a full 6-voice analog synth, you know, it's about as compact as it gets, I suppose. So we're just hearing the Nymphes raw, no effects on it at all, but it does have a built-in reverb, but really peculiar, the built-in reverb, which is digital. And there are certain things which are digital on here. The sound, the oscillators and the filter, and I'm guessing the VCA are like the analog bits. But I think the LFOs are digitally controlled. Might be wrong about that, but there's a lot of digital control, hence being able to do presets as well. But the output, though, is monophonic. Monophonic as in mono, and not mono. It's really annoying, isn't it, that monophonic is used twice. It's a mono output rather than a stereo output. So the reverb is a mono affair. And something Dreadbox have done quite a few times over the years in various forms. The Nymphes, when that came out, had a mono reverb on it. And it always seems strange to me, because reverb is the thing that I add to put space, like stereo space, really. But it's got a reverb, which is great, even though it's mono. So why don't we have a little play with that then? And we'll see what the reverb can do. So it uses our ADSR sliders, and then in order to operate it, I need to put this into the reverb mode, which is number 3 here. So hit menu and then move this to number 3. And now we've got our reverb controls. We've got size, let's max it out. Filter. Then right, what I'll do, I'm just going to come out of here. I'm just going to give ourselves no release. Let's go back to the reverb settings. I'm having something weird going on here. I gotta say, though, I am not familiar with it. I've had it for a good few months now, maybe getting on for a year, and I just haven't got round. Such is my bourgeois life, I suppose. But I just I'd set it up today. I wasn't planning on streaming either, but then what the heck. So I'm just going to check in with chat room. And yeah, it's Wagyu saying that Earthquake Devices just released a new reverb, and that's mono. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's strange. However, you know, I suppose that it just is some sort of, it's tied to the economy of things. Just checking, in the UK, a Dreadbox Nymphes will cost, I haven't looked at the price of it. Let's have a look. So we're looking at around the 400 mark, 410, 420, that sort of price, which, you know, isn't cheap really, but I suppose it's all relative. It is pretty cheap for a genuine 6-voice analog synth that's not made by a certain other company. Okay, so I think I'm triggering the when I hit the aftertouch, I'm getting that repeat coming back. Let's get back to this reverb setting again. There. I'm not sure why I'm keeping getting why is it doing that? I just need to figure that out. It's doing it then. I'm just going to change the preset and bring it back in again, just in case I've done something stupid, which is highly likely. Let's go back to the menu, reverb. I suppose what I was trying to see is if I could just totally drench it with that reverb. But it sounds like the reverb just mixes it in as opposed to changing the dry-wet balance, so it doesn't go completely wet. I think it's just wet on, you know, you're just adding reverb on top of your dry signal. Yeah, okay, I must have changed the setting, maybe when I was messing with the LFO. Yeah, sorry about that. So this is the longest the reverb can be. Make it fully wet. And I think I can modulate some of this as well. Yeah, so when I'm in that menu setting, as I'm adjusting the reverb, I'm kind of locked out of the other parameters, so I can't play with the reverb setting and the filter setting at the same time. It seems a bit frustrating, because it's like nice to yeah. Let's have a little play with this filter then. So the filter does have a high pass mode, non-resonant, again accessed via the shift. It's the analogness of it though is very apparent to me. It feels like there's analog stuff going on. This does feel like the real deal. Let's get some LFO going on here. God, I think this is a really boring show. I'm so sorry. I'm sure lots of you got this synth and know all about it. However, I am just trying to explore it more or less for the first time. I do like the tone. I am really drawn to the tone. That first preset is just so basic, but so rewarding and pleasing. So filter. Course. See, there I was adjusting parameters, but I had the menu light, so I'm like adjusting it, thinking, why isn't it working? Yeah, teething trouble, or okay. So envelope strength. It is nice. So going resonant. This filter, that resonance, I don't recognize this filter. It doesn't sound like the normal Dreadbox filter. It sounds like a new one. I might be wrong, but it doesn't sound like the ones I've got in the other Dreadboxes. I'll try changing the waveform. So we've got a little mixer in our oscillator setting here. We can set it to be variable between a sawtooth. Let's get some filter, open a filter up for this. Okay, let's just make that, simplify that so we can hear, we got our triangle, morph to a square. Morph to a sawtooth. So that controls our level, and then we got a sub oscillator. Let's just, I'll take the chord off for a minute. Let's go back to single notes. Getting this level blend between the raw oscillator and its sub-octave. Oh, it's a nice triangle, that is. Bring in some sub oscillator and a bit of noise. head around this now. So the LFO, then we can change the pitch for the LFO. Vibrato. Of course, if I not go into menu, let's come out of menu, shift, go into shift. Right, yes, got to remember. Shift, and then I can set the delay time and the fade. So I was curious about what the difference between delay and fade is. So I'm hoping that the delay... Let's just make it really obvious for a moment. That's what I'd expect a delay to do. Very Roland. What does fade do? I don't know what the fade does. I don't know if anyone in the chat room knows. So Synth Anatomy, hey Tom, saying we need a good editor for it. So I'm assuming there's no editor for it. Yeah, Tom's saying that the menu is a bit annoying, but it's a great sounding polysynth. Yeah, I would agree. However, if you spent a lot of time with it, I think the shortcomings of the menu would be okay. It's just I'm quite new to it, so I'm flapping around with it somewhat. But yeah, I'm just curious about what fade is. That's obvious to me, the delay. So, right, so both down. When you turn it all the way up, turns it off. I might need some help. LFO fade in. I think that's what delay does though, isn't it? I can't understand the two. So rate. Sorry, the delay rather, the LFO delay. That makes sense. But then this one, I need to get the manual open. Sorry about this. Yeah, glad we're all friends here. Yeah, let's get the manual open. And it's probably a good idea to have it open anyway. But yeah. My Abyss doesn't have any of these menu-y things. It's pretty straightforward, but I think that the Nymphes makes a more palatable sound than the Nymphes. I'm just going to turn some more lights on. One moment. Also, turning lights on was a cunning excuse to get my glass. And I'm going to have a beer, so I hope that is not too offensive to any of you. And tonight, I shall be drinking Peroni from a can. There's a crime. I am a bit old-fashioned, though. I much prefer to drink any liquid, really, from glass rather than from metal or from plastic. And one of my bugbears, and I understand why they do it, but you know, you go to these venues, music venues, and you get served beer or whatever in plastic glasses, that really flimsy plastic glasses. And like, certainly like in Bristol, the O2 Academy, where it's one of the biggest venues in Bristol. It's about £7.50 a pint, and then it's served in a horrible plastic glass. You know, I understand why, and there's probably good reason, but at the same time, especially at £7.50 a pint, it's the most expensive pint in Britain is in the O2, I think. But yes, so Peroni from a can feels a bit wrong, and but I'm boiling hot in my studio, and I'm reserving the right to enjoy a relatively cold beer. So like lager is only works when it's really cold. As soon as it's just a few degrees warmer, it just becomes a horrible drink. Some other beers are not too bad, but lager. So I looked into it, and I think it's. I'm sure my German friends can correct me on this, but I think lagering is the brewing process for this type of beer, and it is brewed cold. It's chilled during the brewing process, so it is meant to be cold. And yeah. Wagyu, I keep trying to find a 1980s bullseye tank art on eBay. Oh my god, I'd love one of them. That's amazing. I'll have to be outbidding you for one of them now. Synchrotron remembers 50p a pint. Yeah. But, I don't, well, I'm cutting down on alcohol. I don't drink a lot of it. I did during lockdown, like I suppose many of us, partly out of just boredom and frustration with the situation, but now trying not to drink too much, but I just like it. I like the taste, especially. But anyway, yeah. So Wagyu's talking about bitters now. UK bitters aren't bad, but when not really cold, yeah. But lagers taste horrible, and the cheaper it is, the more horrible it tastes warmed up. Oh yeah, you know, warm festival lager, like just warm lager. It's just horrible. It's horrible. Yeah. Oh, Synchrotron's a cider man. I blame my mum for giving you sugar butties. Inky's having a laugh about me cutting down. Oh no, I can't. It's all right. I'm fortunate. I think. It you know. I mean, it is one of the things certainly true of Britain. I know it's maybe less true elsewhere, but it's such an alcohol culture we have here. Going out somewhere to whatever and then not be alcohol for sale is quite rare. So much of it is based around alcohol, and well, with the tax rates on it, I'm not surprised really, but anyway, I do digress, and it is but I am going to have a advert style drink. Haha. It's not cold enough. It's not cold enough. Nah. Oh well. You're not missing out, because it's not. If it was super cold, like super cold, and I was like that, oh, but it's not. It's yeah. Hey Vlad, is this an AA meeting? What? It's the culture. Hey, Robbie, it's the culture, guys. Go to Italy, Spain. They consume plenty of booze, but really get leery. Yeah, I know. And we do have a bit of a just knock it back culture as well. I did see there was a venue that had just opened, maybe in Brighton, and it doesn't sell any alcohol. So, be interested to see how that goes. You know. Is it beer in a wine glass? No, this is a Lef. This is a proper Belgian beer glass. I was drinking an Italian, not cold enough, in a Belgian beer glass. But yeah. Watch out it doesn't spill all the beer over the Nymphes. Right, I'm relaxing a little bit now. Thank you everybody for sticking with me. I had a terrible start to the show with lots of technical problems, and I felt really a bit weird. I'm completely unprepared, because the thing that we're looking at here, the Nymphes, I don't really know it very well at all. So it's a little bit like that, but hey, what the heck. Hope you enjoy yourselves. It's really nice to have a lovely chat room again, live, joining me. So if you're not joining me live, then when I do stream, it'll be typically 8 p.m. on a Wednesday UK time. So click that stinking bell if you want to be notified when I go live, because I'm not very good at being regular these days for a bunch of reasons, although it is something I keep threatening to become a regular man, streaming every day, every Wednesday. But hopefully it'll become a bit more regular. Last week, for instance, I was on Radio Wales at this time, between 8 and 9 o'clock. It may still be available on the BBC Sounds app. But me and Steve Davis were interviewed about our gig that we did last Friday. I talked briefly about this on Sonic. I wonder if I can stream something to you. No, I'll do that again. I have Asio heard that interview. Brilliant. Madcap Modulus suggesting I drink mushroom tea and do a show. That would be fun. I'm sure all the technical problems would evaporate if I did that. Yeah, but yeah, it was on the radio last Wednesday on Radio Wales, so the national BBC radio station of Wales, between 8 and 9, before the watershed. And apart from having the interview, we managed to have a bunch of our tunes that we wanted them to play. Well, in fact, including one jam that we'd just done about an hour and a half before going live. So it's super fresh. But also we got to play some songs that we really love, or that have been influential to us, and it felt very gratifying getting all of this weird psychedelic music on national radio, between 8 and 9 o'clock. Felt a bit naughty in a good way. Yeah, Steve Elbows thinks that the technical problems would be a bit more fun if I had that mushroom tea. Lovely to see you all in the chat room now. Thank you so much for joining me. So going off topic a little bit, but that is a speciality of mine. The gig on Friday, though, I have filmed it and I've got it edited now, so I'm not sure what to do, whether to put the whole concert up or excerpts of it. Probably excerpts, actually, I think might be better, but we'll see. But that's kind of ready. Dilip Funbar asking, did you miss the jam, the Nymphes jam? No, we will be doing some more. I just having a moment. I'm just having a moment with my not quite lukewarm beer. Yeah. It has to be colder. It has to be colder. So, Wagyu suggesting the whole concert. Well, yeah. I wonder if I pasted the unlisted YouTube thing in the chat now. You could all go and have a little watch of it, can you? Yeah, it's funny. We felt afterwards, and I think Steve especially, it was a little bit strange. It was a very badly organised event, it turned out, in terms of the guy had got a PA system in, but he hadn't actually got anyone to operate the PA system. So all the bands who've been playing, it was like, it was a 2-day event, really. They were all having to engineer themselves, which isn't fun. So I'm going to have words with that promoter, because I think he was foolish to do that. But also it meant it was a little bit more difficult for us just to kind of feel relaxed and to be ready to perform. I think if those sort of things are really important, that people reassure you you've got everything set, rather than have to, do it yourself. But yeah, so playing with Steve, though, Steve Davis, obviously, Steve's, Steve very much known for his, being the 6 times snooker world champion. I would say that he now is a very seasoned musician. He's with his band Utopia Strong. They've done more than 80 gigs now. They've had 2 albums and 4 special edition albums, so 6 albums in. He's not a beginner. I mean, I'm much more a beginner in terms of playing live with electronic music. Not a beginner in terms of playing live. I've been doing it for a long time, mostly bass, but certainly modular. So, but it's nice. We learn off each other, and we spend a lot of time together, just hanging out and trying things out. And so we're not really a band as such. We just like to hang out and do stuff. So. But Steve's main band, Utopia Strong, are really good. Highly recommend them. It's Steve, Mike York, and Carvas Tarabi, and they've got a fantastic chemistry on stage. And yeah, check them out. Their albums on Rocket Recordings are really, really good. And there's a real mixture there of organic acoustic instruments and electronic instruments. Carvas often plays like harpsichord, or he might sing or play some guitar. Mike plays different like Uilleann pipes or bagpipes, all sorts of pipes, but also he's got a little rig with Moog Mother 32 and a bunch of other things. And so it's a real hybrid, fairly ambient thing, but it's got a unique flavour. The Utopia Strong. It's on Bandcamp. It's also on all of the normal streaming channels too. Just reading my Goo, or you could premiere the whole concert one Wednesday on my usual slot. Yeah, maybe that would have been a good idea tonight. But Steve wasn't sure about it. I sent him the video. It's a bit weird, I think, because we're trying out something new to us, which is a much more. We were trying to do something that may be a little bit more mainstream, just in that with more, say, dancey beats, possibly. I mean, no one was dancing, so it was hardly a dance set. But yeah, we got another gig in September. So we'll see. We might follow a similar path, or we might do something else. But then therein is the thing that's really fun with modular. You just kind of, adjust and form it however you want. I use my live rig that you've seen many a time on my show, and I just really mainly just did drums, although at the very end I just made a cacophony just to fill up sound. But I was mostly working on doing drums, and Steve was doing like sequences and sort of bass lines and sequences, mostly, although he was in charge of the kick drum, because he's got a WMD Crater module, which I think is the best sounding kick I've ever heard. It's just got incredible presence. It really thumps out. It's brilliant, and every time he drops that in, it really lifts everything up. I don't know if Vlad is still in the chat room, but I heavily using his Q drum now. It's a mainstay now of my live set. Brilliant module. But yeah, and right, I digress again. Yeah. Asio has said he's heard that Ronnie O'Sullivan and Stephen Hendry are starting a synth duo. I hope so. Vlad is still there. Yes. Thank you, my friend. What a fantastic module that is. That Q drum. It's a few things I really like about it. I have demonstrated it on the show before, but I probably will do more in the future with it. But one of the things I particularly like is being able to save. You've got lots and lots of kit memories, so you can save your kit in, you've got loads of slots, and it's just instant when you change to a different kit. So you can make, and I was doing that quite a lot, dialing in the new one, waiting for the right moment, and then just launching the new kit, and maybe muting out a few other things and bringing in the new kit. And really cool, really nice. But then the controls are just laid out really nicely for just manipulating it live. It's great. I mean, like playing live with modular, I've done quite a few gigs now, probably approaching 10, not a lot, but in doing so, you start to really appreciate certain modules like the Q drum for their for just how good they are live. Some of the modules I've got, they're really small and they're very fiddly, and it's easy to nudge knobs, that you don't want to nudge and that sort of thing. And but at the same time, I want so much functionality squeezed into my live rig. It's that sort of balancing act. Andrew Brooks saying, love the QD2, but needs to dig deeper into the sample side of it, the sample player side of it. Me too. I'm very interested in... very interested in expanding my use of it. Matthew Viner saying, Peroni might be all right over there, but in North America it's pretty bad. Lots of beers are licensed and then brewed locally. We have that in the UK too, although let me have a look if this is brewed in the UK. You don't know. It says brewed and canned in the EU. So who knows where it's brewed. I think it's brewed for the UK market as well. Yeah, so I think it's probably some sort of maybe a bit generic lager, just packaged and sold at a premium price to us gullible Brits. It's all right, but it's definitely not cold enough. Anyway, that was a mad long digression. I'm sort of kind of procrastinating about going back to the Nymphes because I'm a bit... I don't know much. I don't know what to talk about it, really. We can have a look, listen to some of the presets. Let's do that, because at least that's easy to do. Okay, let's do that. So it does have quite a few voice modes then. You've got the poly mode, you've got unison A, unison B, tri mode, so I'm guessing three oscillators, duo mode and mono mode. So I mean, I guess we could go into, let's see if what my prowess is like now. Menu, let's go into number 1. Poly mode. Unison A. entirely sure what the difference are. Maybe is it legato? Tri-mode. So I think tri-mode then is 3 notes, 3-note polyphony, but with each voice doubled. So we get a little bit of detune going on here. Nice. And then duo mode, which I'm guessing is like a duophonic mode, but not sure. Not quite sure what that is, but again, I was meant to be getting the manual open so I can stop just waffling and actually be a bit more factual. Yeah. I'm just going to read what it says here on the Dreadbox page here. It says, Nymphes are chthonic demigoddesses who not only personify nature, but are regularly associated with the wild. They inhabit rivers, springs, woods, groves, fields, caves, mountains and valleys. They preside over fountains, sacred wells and fresh water. Okay. But then it goes on to say the polyphonic synthesizer Nymphes was developed during the obscure pandemic times, and we really hope it'll bring a pinch of happiness on your face. We try to condense an ambitious idea in a small and compact box without any compromise in the quality of the final instrument. The result is stunning and ethereal. Okay. So all analog synthesizer except for the reverb. Yeah, as mentioned, 6-voice polyphony, lush digital reverb developed by Dreadbox. Yeah, because they were using, what were they using before? I think in the Nymphes, it was, there was a Greek pedal company. Oh, what are they called? Crazy Circuits. Yeah, I was just looking down and finding my Crazy Circuits pedal. But this is their own one. 6 different play modes that we're looking at. 98 preset memories. Okay, so there's banks and... Oh yeah, I see. Bank and... So 98 presets, 49 factory and 49 user. MIDI over USB or DIN 5, although with a little adapter. MPE and Polyphonic aftertouch support. Ooh. That's interesting. And compact USB powered for maximum portability. Yeah. They come from springs, they come from groves, they come from the sacred rivers flowing seawards. In Homer Odyssey 10, 348 FF C8 BCJ. Whatever all that means. Features per voice. 1 VCO with waveforming. Yeah, so the waveforming then is that smooth adjustability then of the waves. A sub oscillator, noise generator, 1 LFO per voice with key track, fade in and fade. Oh, it's fade out. Oh, that's what it must be, the fade then. So the delay fades it in and then the fade fades it out. Okay, 2 envelope generators, a 24 dB octave low-pass resonant filter with accurate tracking, and then a 6 dB octave high-pass non-resonant filter. Yeah. Yeah, so I think we... Oh my goodness, look at all the videos that have been done. Yeah, this synth has had a lot of coverage. You don't need me knowing nothing about it. Yeah, Sign Vibes did the effects in the Typhon, didn't they? Okay, just checking chat room. Oof, flipping heck, I've been streaming a while, haven't I? This is a... Yeah, apologies for the kind of relatively poor show tonight, but yeah, this is either something or nothing. Let's get back there. It definitely has personality. That's what you get from a Dreadbox synth. I'd like to try it with an MPE controller. We'll definitely return to the Nymphes. I want to hook it up with an MPE controller, because as I'm playing this, I can feel that the voices are... Each voice is an independent voice. This isn't a digital synth. These are discrete analog voices. So to be able to feel the individual control of them with an MPE controller, definitely desirable. Let's do some of these strums. Let's go minor. That reverb tail. Let's just tweak that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, well, I think I might stop in a moment because I don't know what to do. Yeah, it's a sort of it's definitely a really nice sounding synth. It's got character, it's personality, and I really quite like it. I want to spend some more time with it so that I can come back and be a little bit more confident about it, knowing where the sweet spots are with it. But yeah, so tonight really I just wanted, it was a fairly spontaneous show, and also beset somewhat with technical problems at the start, but yeah, it's fairly spontaneous really. But thanks so much for joining me. It's I know it can be a bit tedious at times, but you're a lovely audience. Wagyu was saying it would sound nice with them two of them panned. Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Two of them. Do you know what? Two of them would be a bit like, you could do, if you had them panned, the Super 6 there, which is also works as a 6-voice poly, but with the two oscillators per voice. Or you can separate that, but it's in the binaural mode and then changing the wave offset. So there you go. Sort of thing. But yeah, thanks so much. You're kind. You're a kind bunch. Did it? Yeah, Nick made me do it. Yeah, he did actually. But yeah, I might have a little play, and then what I was hoping to do, actually, perhaps I should do it now. So what I was going to try to do, I'm going to do it as an outro, is play some of this into the 505. So if I was to get the 505 rocking, I might just start. No, let's get in more. Let's get a bossa nova samba pattern. Haha. Boogaloo. Alright, we got a boogaloo. I've not worked with a boogaloo before. Let's see if we can get something happening with a boogaloo. I'm going to change the kit. That's better. Okay, let's find a bass. A load of nonsense. Thanks, everyone. See you soon. And yeah, thanks once more for joining me. Maybe give this absolute abomination a like if you would be so kind. Just again, I'm not entirely sure why, but you know, I'm told that asking for likes and subscribers is a good thing, although don't always feel like it's worth it. But yeah, thanks everyone, and native VS, any chance of bossa nova? All right, thanks a lot, everyone. See you.